traveling all this way to be here. I should really start, but how many pints of Guinness have you had so far? But
Too many.
It's day one. It's day one. There's plenty of opportunity for that. Look, obviously, there's always this tremendous affinity between Ireland and Canada. I'd say everybody in the audience probably has at least 4 Canadian phone numbers in their phone right now. I mean, in terms of, like, tell us a little bit about Brampton, in terms of its, like, what's unique about it, or, I guess, what would you like us all to know about it in terms of what makes it different than, Toronto, Calgary, all these other places that we hear about all the time?
Yeah, for sure. So Brampton not only is the fastest growing municipality in Canada, we are the most diverse municipality in Canada as well. Like the mayor was saying, we speak over 172 languages. We have hundreds of different cultures, ethnic backgrounds, and it's something that makes Brampton so strong in setting us up on the stage. We're close to about 700,000 people now. We've made a commitment to add 10,000 units, household units every year for the next 10 years. So we're fastly approaching that $1 million mark, or 1 million population, which is something that's fantastic. Not only Canada, because it's such a low population, but the similarities alone between not only Brampton and Ireland. Everybody that you talk to in Brampton has some Irish background as well. My mom was born in Lurgan, so it's truly a great relationship.
Yeah, and Dennis, from your perspective, kind of the same question. I mean, what do you think is unique about the city in terms of why Irish companies should think about it there?
It's funny because St. Paddy's Day is one of our busiest days. Everybody there is Irish. I think the opportunity is there for everybody. When we look at the businesses that are there, and we can look at all businesses, not just startups or med tech or any of that. A lot of them are owned by Irish, and when the Irish come over, they find their home within their home. And I think in Brampton, that's what you'll find. We actually have a center that's called the Irish Center, which is where everybody kind of immigrates to at first, and then that's within our city, and then they move out from there and really grow their own roots within our city, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
And Claire, I mean, obviously economic development for a city, you have to think about like a kind of a long-term view of what the city's going to develop into. Do you really want a whole bunch more Irish people showing up on city?
I don't think I've
do you have enough bars? I mean, so in terms of, look, you've gone to a massive effort to come over here to, a technology festival. Like, in terms of, say, the city and how you see it developing over the next 10, 15, 20 years, is technology that important to you as a thing to make you travel all this distance?
It absolutely is. We have a large, strong manufacturing sector. There's a long-standing economy in Brampton. So we were born as a suburb to Toronto, but as the councillors were describing, we've really become a city unto ourselves now. And with that comes a really strong and diverse economy. So yes, of course, we are very culturally diverse, and that is one thing that businesses look for, but we're also economically diverse. We have one of the largest auto manufacturing plants in the country. It's just been announced that they will be retooling for the electric vehicle.
Oh, wow.
and developing a new electric vehicles there. We also have MDA, they're the makers of the Canadarm. So if you look on the back of a $5 Canadian bill, you'll see the Canadarm on the back of that bill. We like to call it the Brampton Buck. But they've decided to reinvest in our city. They've been there for about 60 years now, and they are going to be building a new center of excellence to welcome the world to Brampton to look at space robotics. So that's the established economy. Those are good examples of the established economy. And over the last 3 years, we've been building a new innovation district. So it seemed kind of crazy at the time to be launching an innovation district at the beginning of COVID, but it was actually an excellent time to be doing it. We really were born to be virtual. We have a lot of our incubators and accelerators that have virtual startups. And then the borders are opening more, and Canada's immigration system is kicking back in.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot more immigration coming in with those startups. So the Innovation District, we have a few partners with us here today. We have Beehive, which is our soft landing pad for international startups coming to Canada through the Startup Visa program. You can visit their booth and find out some more questions about that. And we have the Catalyst, Trish from the Rogers Cybersecure Catalyst. One of our accelerators in the Innovation District offers expedited training and retraining programs all the way to a cyber range, which is one of the first cyber ranges in an innovation district in the country.
Wow.
So that's a city's commitment. The council has made a commitment to really grow our innovation district and really grow an innovation economy.
And Michael, like that obviously as the councillors in the city, you're representing, your constituents and stuff. I mean, when you look at the commitment you're making here around an innovation district, obviously, it services a very particular audience of people. But do you think having an innovation district like that is important for, the wider constituency in the city? Like, it feels to me it makes a statement really about, that you're forward thinking as opposed to looking in reverse.
Yeah, absolutely. So even the post-secondary education in Brampton is one of the fastest growing education by population systems. We have new schools that are popping up all over the place. We have TMU. It's going to be the first medical school in Canada in over 100 years. But the class sizes are expanding at such a fast rate that we need to get ahead of this and make sure that these sectors and these abilities are here. You look at just our council alone, a lot of very diverse. A lot of from the private sector. Councillor Keenan has not only developed a system for dialysis machines. That's his other job. Plus, he owns an electrical company. So we're always looking at different ways. Sorry, don't forget
my pub.
He is Irish pub.
And he owns 2 Irish pubs. So he didn't think he was busy enough, so he decided to run for office. So it's just one of those things in Brampton. The council and the mayor and our staff are so fantastic that getting us to look forward and think that way is the best thing for the population.
Yeah.
And Dennis, like on that, that's just such an Irish entrepreneur mentality. I'll own a few pubs and I'll have like med tech and dialysis and everything on the side. But I mean, in terms of like coming to Ireland now. I mean, the idea, you would like companies to relocate over, you'd like them to look at it. I mean, what's the ask of the audience here today, really? Like?
I think the ask is if you're looking to scale up in the North American market, Brampton's the place where you need to start. As a council, we're definitely focused on building the future for tomorrow, building the jobs for tomorrow. So it's not just about bringing the business in, it's creating that ecosystem that'll serve our residents for the future. And I think that's what's important. I think, coming all the way out here, it's enjoyable as much as it is work. But it just shows that we are dedicated as a local government to make sure that we can drive that business in and help our community grow in the way that we see fit.
And Claire, from your perspective, like as the city, what do they always say? The councillors they derive the vision, and then the implementation comes down to yourselves. I mean, what is like if you look forward maybe 5-10 years in terms of the innovation district, what would you like to see it have developed into? I mean, it's funny you mentioned Michael the huge diversity in population that you have already there. So I mean, you have that for a start. But is there a particular thing that you'd be very proud of in 5 years' time if you saw it?
Yeah, I think I'm already really proud of the innovation district and what we've accomplished. I think what I would like to see is ensure that we maintain our sense of community.
Yep.
And that organically develops. So when we started, we were really negotiating partnership agreements with different incubators and accelerators in our post-secondary, and it was very formal. And now 3 years later, we're seeing a lot more organic relationships between the different partners. We're seeing companies come. I would love to see more engagement from corporate Canada. So we've just attracted Canada's largest telecom to come and be our anchor investment in the downtown, which is where the innovation district is. So these are all things that we keep adding to it, we keep expanding to it, we look at what the gaps are. When we travel, we visit a lot of incubators and accelerators. I was very fortunate to just be in the UAE, and we visited several of their incubators to learn what they do next. Yeah. Because we're very young. We're a very young city. We're only 50 years old, yeah. Right, which is quite young when you're over here telling people we're only 50. Yeah. And we're a young innovation district, so we want to make sure that we're learning the best from around the world, and that's something that we're doing here as well.
Fantastic. So I know you have, the Beehive team have a stand down in this corner here, don't you? And for any company that agrees to move to Canada today, Dennis will look after your first round in a pub of your choice.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Folks, thank you so much for making the trip. Really appreciate it. Any final words?
We do have the mixer
we're having 2 parties this
Oh,
week.
wow.
We have a couple
I
parties.
think everybody likes hearing about the parties.
Come by the booth and we'll give you an invitation to 2 receptions that we're having this week as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So much.